Hey everybody, welcome to Spilling the IT. I'm Paul Burke. And that's Adam Burke. We talking everything IT, and today we are talking about complex versus simple systems and integrating both of those systems and how to go about doing that. So a couple things. One, we are with Quest Technology Management. If you have any questions, we're always happy to talk to you. You can always reach us at questsys.com. Adam, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Paul? Good.
Good.
You have a good weekend? Good time?
Good weekend. Yeah, very mellow. Nothing memorable, but
No? Just
nothing bad either.
total average? That's good. That's
Totally
good.
average weekend. Yeah, it's
Right on.
nice.
We finally had it. We finally had fall break in my part of the country and got cold, got chilly. Actually saw my breath outside in the morning and it was cool. So it's weird. I was talking to people in the Midwest and in New York last week. They were all sunny and it's all sunny and nice and looking good. And we're cold down here in the Southwest. So it's it's good
Yeah,
times.
it got really cold up here in California as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, that's our weather chat portion of the show. An opportunity to dive in and talk about weather and seeing breath. But couple things I should mention. First, Adam, the audience is getting educated, and I'm going to get educated today because I don't know much about system integration and complex, simple systems. It's all very new to me, so expect some really beginner questions.
I am looking forward to it. It's good stuff. We've been talking system integration work for a while. It's always a fun discussion when clients let us go there and when partners let us go there. So yeah, let's jump into it.
Cool. And while I know nothing about system integration, I can create some graphics. So Adam, let's talk about system integrations, but let's dive into simple systems. Or is it better, Adam? You're the wise one. Is it better to jump into complex or simple first? I would think using the words as guideposts,
Yeah.
simple is a better place to start.
Well, so simple system integration is a good place to start. And when you think of the SI world, a lot of people go to intellectual property and like custom development work. But there are just tricks of the trade around basic simple system integration. Basically taking parts and pieces and making them communicate with each other in an effective way for your business. So as you're going through the idea of putting your communication systems in place with your customer systems, in place with your video surveillance. We have one opportunity right now we're working on with a partner and a customer where we're integrating their video surveillance with their point of sale system. Really exciting stuff. Basically giving them the ability to know who's who and what is purchasing where and at what time. So when you're thinking system integration, even if it's a simple system integration, like I want to make sure that my people have the ability to store this data at this place at this time, those are all great opportunities for customization and development. So when you're doing a simple system integration, maybe that's one or two platforms. You hear the word platform a lot. So if it could be a Microsoft platform or a Linux-based platform or other operating systems, Android, a lot of development can go on there in the simple system integration. So
Okay. All right.
yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm
You
taking
taking
notes.
copious notes?
I'm taking notes. This is deep.
Yeah. Deep stuff.
If I was a better performer, I would have taken the cap off, but it did not.
Yes. Yeah. You sold it well, though. You sold
Thank
it
you.
well. Yeah.
So you mentioned really enjoying the conversation about this stuff. Why do you think this is such an awesome thing to integrate into companies?
Well, because when you get to have the simple or complex system integration concepts, a way that Quest oftentimes we think of ourselves is we take a lot of different building blocks and help organizations put the pieces together. So it could be It could be how their people are communicating, so their phone systems, with their software packages that basically manage their databases, and their customer, they manage their customer database or their inventory, and then you layer that in with some security work. All these parts and pieces, whether they're cloud or on premise, all have to talk and function together in order to work. And it's exciting when you get into that trusted role where you can actually have the real conversation about making the technology function the way the business needs it to. We come from an industry where the vendors and the powers that be, the people who manufacture the software, the widgets, they want to sell their stuff. They want to sell their boxes. They want to sell their software subscriptions. And one way that you do that is you get people excited about what it can do. And you sell that idea. You sell the dream, right? Sell the sizzle. Well, that's cool. And that's great. And there's tons of good slideware out there and tons of good things out there. But the actual day-to-day operations of making that function is not always plug and play. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. I have you have phones, right? You have app stores. You have the iOS system with Apple. They make it simple and idiot proof for myself to open up an app and start doing some cool stuff in their closed ecosystem that they have their developers doing. But there's millions of dollars, billions of dollars, trillions that go into simplifying that and making it easy for the end user. In our business, there's always parts and pieces that need to get put together. And when you get to have that conversation with a customer about really what they're trying to do and putting those parts and pieces together, it's exciting because then you're involved in an outcome, which is what we as a company are always trying to get to. What capability do you need help with? What outcome can we help you deliver? So that's why it's exciting when you get to have that system integration conversation.
And I think getting to the conversation is the most important part because I think so often, I mean, I'll take myself, for instance, like setting all of this up so we could do this show, had no idea about all the pieces necessary and how everything was going to tie together until I started doing it. And while I had a conversation with myself to figure everything out, I think many customers and many clients and many people we reach out to or anybody talks to, they don't know what they don't know until you start talking to them.
Yeah, they don't know what they don't know until you start talking. And then also, you jump into it. We dealt with audio visual stuff. We dealt with sound. We've dealt with, just getting this platform going. You don't know necessarily what you're dealing with until you get involved and you try to figure out, okay, what outcomes do I actually want to have happen? I want to broadcast this to Facebook, and I want to broadcast this to YouTube, and I want to be able to create something that you can edit. You had to stumble through that in a do-it-yourself model. And this is relative.
Which is doable.
It's doable. It's doable.
But yeah, sometimes it's nice to have somebody helping you along the way. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And all the integrations that went together just to host this platform. All the stuff you and I never saw, right? We're working on this is being broadcast on a platform that's taking
I know nobody. Yeah. I know nobody at YouTube. I know no engineers at YouTube. I know nobody there, but I'm using all of their stuff.
Yeah, you're using all their stuff, and the amount of design and customization and scripts and development that went into making it so Paul Burke could, plug in a few applications and sign up to a few things and send his meathead brother Adam, a link and a sign on to log in and start talking.
Living the dream. I'm living the dream.
Well, it's pretty powerful stuff, but and at the same time, there are huge opportunities to help people put that all together to make that available to, people like us to do that. So that's where we love to be in those conversations. It's exciting to participate there.
So let's say we were having a conversation about simple and complex. So this is where my very simple questions come in. How would you define a simple system versus a complex system?
Well, simple system is going to be like maybe one or two platforms, right? So we help people um, with developing SharePoint, right? So SharePoint is a way for firms, organizations to share documents and share files and basically have all your data in one place. Oftentimes, it ends up being the corporate junk drawer, right? Because if you don't set up the framework appropriately, people start saving files in a non-repeatable way. No one knows where to search for things. It can turn to a mess really quick. So there are some basic rules and some basic ways that you can set up a SharePoint site that help people access data and share information in an efficient way. So that's really a single platform, right? You have your Microsoft SharePoint application. Maybe you're hosting it internally. It's on your servers in your data center, or maybe it's in Microsoft Cloud, Azure. It's on Microsoft Azure SharePoint Online.
Okay.
It's not a ton to it. It's still, you still got to get the basics right, but you're not putting a lot of workflows in there that complicate the universe for your people.
There's not a lot of systems talking to each other.
Not necessarily. I mean, you're using one or two platforms. There's certain scripts you can run, and certain people who are great at setting these things up. They know their business. They're getting it done. You need a couple skill sets to really build that out effectively.
Okay.
Whereas, a complicated design or a complicated system integration project is going to take a lot of diverse systems and a lot of different languages and try to create something that's uniform, right? So you're taking
So like
all
when
sorts.
You mentioned languages. What do you like? What kind of languages?
So like you have different databases, right? So you have Microsoft SQL. There's a ton to list. Microsoft SQL. You have Oracle databases. You have MySQL. You have all sorts of different data sets.
Okay.
And then you also have applications that are interpreting those things in different ways and creating outputs. So the idea is sometimes like you have legacy systems. Everyone could do amazing things. Like we put this together, right? We'll go back to the example of what we're using right now.
Sure.
We didn't have anything. You and me, we didn't have anything we had to necessarily bring to the table here. I have my cheap desktop camera.
Mm-hmm.
You have your nice setup in your lighted room there, but we didn't really have anything.
And the viewer cannot tell a difference between both locations. Adam, it's seamless.
It is 100%.
100%.
But it's like, we weren't having to take any legacy system in order to tie that into this platform to make it work.
Got it.
Right. So you have old iron mainframes, like legacy stuff that's been around for 20, 30 years, Cobalt data center or Cobalt. I always mispronounce that. But legacy Cobalt data sets that are basically like, the unemployment systems that tracked all the unemployment back in the, when COVID hit. There was a ton of development need for those platforms that all those guys had retired, all those people had retired, and it was very, very hard to find those resources because you had to get that data set, speaking that language to talk to new stuff that people are trying to migrate towards. So there's a lot of debt out there in technology in the space of like, okay, how can we actually tie these systems together and get these things talking? So that's a complex system integration process. You gotta speak the language over here, and then you gotta develop the middleware to make the two systems talk. It's getting better, but there's some advanced projects out there that can take months and years to get legacy systems into a new format.
So almost a new build is easier sometimes, but everybody can't do a new build. Like this, our show was just kind of a new build, kind of creating webcams, setting it all up. But a lot of organizations need to start with what they have and integrating that into the new. It's almost like a remodel. You got to keep the same building.
Yeah, so that's a great example. So in real estate, everyone says location, 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 right? You can have an awesome house, but you can have an awesome location, but it could be a dump, right? So you have to rip and replace that double wide trailer with ocean view and build a new little McMansion there if that's what you want to have happen.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, think of the legacy assets. You think of it as a negative way. It's not negative, right? So those old databases with all your customers' information, those are the crown jewels of your company. That's what actually matters. That's why you have value is that data and those customers and that record and how you do business. But the world keeps moving forward, so you gotta get that system to a place that can actually perform and keep up. So there's that. You're kind of always dragging and pushing that rock uphill when it comes to applications and development and staying in front of all these changes.
Do you in your dealings, do you find a lot of clients, customers, they very rarely don't question, hey, how do these all tie together? And they just assume everything is going to immediately sync and work together perfectly?
No, well, not in IT. The
Okay.
IT, most people who operate in IT know what they have in place or where they might be lacking.
Okay.
You can go into some boardrooms and have some conversations with some people who are not in IT,
Mm-hmm.
and there are those types of assumptions. I mean, we had a
Which isn't bad. It's just I think, that's just kind of what people assume. It's like, oh, it's technology. It's going to immediately work, right? So I mean, I think
yeah,
a lot of people think that.
it'll just work. Yeah, like so, one thing that people often forget is, getting from point A to point B is a big lift, right? Getting from one data center to the cloud is a substantial project and can be. You've been operating in one data center environment or maybe on premise and you want to go to a data center. You've been living there for 5, 10, 15 years. There's going to be some challenges ripping and replacing and moving that from point A to point B. It just doesn't automatically happen. But non-technical folks who haven't been through those projects before, we never think about it. You just never think about it. We've probably beaten this example to death, but I don't care right now where this video is being hosted or how it's going through the internet or how my voice is traveling to you. But I guarantee you there's been billions of dollars in development so that when I move my mouth and my voice goes into my audio goes into this receiver here and transmits,
Mm-hmm.
that it comes across relatively synced. But that just doesn't happen. There's been millions of dollars in development to make that work. So, to your question, the challenge and the opportunity is sometimes vendors and people who develop technology will position the fact that it can automatically happen. Like the idea that, hey, just buy this platform and it'll work. You might have to, hey, it's $1 million, but you might have to spend $1 million just to get it in an operational format. So it's there's a little bit of.
Adam, I have an important question here, and you said it twice, so I think you meant it on purpose. Are you purposely saying auto magically, or are you
Yes.
mispronouncing
No, automatically.
automatically?
Yeah. No, automatically. Yeah.
That's a word.
It's a word now. I just, boom.
I like it.
There.
Look at that. Look at that. Educating, creating words. This show, so many accomplishments.
You've never heard automagically?
No, never have.
Oh.
I've heard
Yeah,
automatically.
No, it's a joke.
I've heard magically. Never automagically.
It's a word integration.
I think it's called a portmanteau. I think so.
Is it? I didn't know that one.
If you're watching this and you know what jamming two words together is called, leave it in the comments. I'm pretty sure it's a portmanteau.
Okay.
Well, we're all learning.
Well played.
We're all learning.
Yeah.
Any other things you'd like to mention about simple or complex system integrations, issues that people may run into that they may not be aware of now that we could just kind of like give them a heads up on the situation?
Well, so I mean, Quest, we do a lot in business continuity, in disaster recovery and security space, and one area that sometimes we fail to make sure people are aware of is application security and the fact that we help in the DevOps process. So when people are developing new platforms, when they're developing new applications, when they're taking a legacy system and getting it ready for the cloud, we've built out a whole practice around application modernization, right? So you modernize an application. One thing that you always got to make sure you're doing, whether we're helping to modernize the application or we're just plugged into the DevOps process, is how are you securing that and how are you vetting out the code that you're putting all these building blocks together, all this stuff, and you're making sure that you're building something that's, it's solid, it's built upon a rock, that it's going to be able to perform. So that's where we always like to make sure that whether we're doing a code review or we're plugged into the release cycle of that application as it's going through dev and test and production, hey, you gotta check that out. You gotta make sure that security is part of that process. And we do that. We do that in-house with our own developers. We do that as a one-time audit or a quarterly scan. There's a lot of different ways you can make sure your applications are secure and you're not using anything that has any at least known or potential vulnerabilities when you're putting all those parts and pieces together. So.
And if anybody has questions about their own system integration, Adam, best place for them to reach us, website, phone number, how best way to get a hold of us if they want to just ask questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can contact either one of us or Questsys.com. We have an application development. One of our core pillars there on the website is application development and cybersecurity. Those are often times where we get involved. So, sometimes we do have that application modernization and cloud migration workshop. The cloud migration workshop is, it's a marketing term for the idea of modernizing an application or helping with some basic system integration work. So getting from point A to point B and leveraging that stuff. So it's a good way to engage. There's all sorts of ways to check us out online.
Oh man, so. What wisdom from Adam Burke.
You're getting better with the clapping and the buttons, and you're like Jim Cramer you gotta get one of those boards and smacking there you go. Yeah. Sell.
Adam, lightning round.
Hey,
look at that. Weather phenomena. Exciting. It goes full circle. It started with weather, coming to an end with weather. Anything else, Adam, before we jump to our next section of the show, Spilling the IT?
No, I don't think so. No. It's Veterans Day tomorrow, so happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service for all veterans out there.
Happy Veterans Day. Adam, thank you for your service. Quick question. Adam, everybody's wondering, what are you watching?
Mando.
Oh, hey.
Mando.
We're talking about the same one.
Yeah. It's sick. I'm a Star Wars geek. You are too. We were raised on Star Wars, and I got so pumped up. Saw it on my feed, and I was like, I get to watch. So loving it. Yeah.
And we both squealed.
Yep.
Did you watch both episodes?
I did. Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. I'm a fan. So and I like how they're releasing it one at a time, so you can't like binge watch like the whole thing, because sometimes you get, I could totally do that. I could watch like 4 in one night probably, and just ruin it. But
and then episodes 1 through 3 you kind of forget, and the fourth one is the only one you talk about.
Yeah.
So HBO is smart too. Like they do that too. They just kind of like slowly release them one at a time. I don't know. I always have wondered what data Netflix has seen which suggests the way they do it is better for them. You know what I mean? Because everybody talks about The Mandalorian every week. It's just like, did you see it? Let's talk about it. What does this mean? Why is Baby Yoda so hungry? Mando needs to feed him more, clearly. What is happening?
Yeah. I thought when I first saw it, I was like, oh, he's gonna do some cool force thing, with the. Nope. He's just eating the eggs. Okay, that's weird.
Baby's just hungry. So here's what I'm wondering: Is Yoda's? This is what everybody's here for. Our hot
Yeah,
Mandalorian
obviously
takes.
system integration discussions.
System. You know what? Galactic system integration, Adam.
Yeah.
It's a terrible way to tie this all together. But here's my question: Yoda's species hungry? Are they just really, really hungry? Because they just kept reinforcing how hungry Baby Yoda is. And here's the thing: I don't ever remember Yoda at the Jedi councils just munching on a bag of chips. I never once saw him eat. So
I think the metabolism spikes up. The metachlorians or whatever when there's a lot of them. I think you have a high metabolism. Remember, Luke was always eating. Yeah. So, but to tie it all together,
sure,
that the ship that Mando is limping along,
bring it home.
That could be a legacy application, right?
Oh, it's
good. A legacy application. It's limping along through cyberspace, just waiting to get picked off, buddy. Just waiting to get picked off. So as a legacy application, you need to do a little upgrade. You need to invest a little bit, get that Star Cruiser clipping along, and there you go.
Oh,
let's get a picture of Mando.
Beautiful. What a beautiful way to tie it all together.
Yeah.
And everybody, watch out for space spiders. Ice spiders.
That was weird. Yeah. Weird. I thought there was gonna be a face hugger situation there. But yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah. You know what's funny is every episode I'm like, are they gonna rip off a different creature? Like season 2, episode 1, it basically mashed up aliens and Dune. And then this last one was like, let's mash up spiders and aliens. What's the next one gonna mash up? They just keep sampling other creatures.
Yeah, that was basically the hobbits getting chased through the spider den on the way to Mordor, and they blended that with a little bit of aliens egg hatching kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, we are nerding out right now, so we gotta cut this. And
I hope episode 3 references the Goonies. I hope they find a space pirate ship and set it loose on the high seas. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Goonies. Yeah. Good film.
And Baby Yoda can eat a Baby Ruth.
Oh, boy. All right. Everybody, thank you very much. This has been another successful deep dive into tech. And come back next week for more tech and hot takes on The Mandalorian. Adam, anything else you want to mention?
Nope, that's it. Everyone have a good week, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Cool. See you then. Bye.
Bye.